I love Christmas. I really do. 11 months out of the year, I'll tell you that Halloween is my favorite holiday. And 11 months out of the year, I'd be right. Putting on some spooky tunes and vibing in cosplay season, it's awesome. But December is an exciting month, because you know one day, you'll wake up and it'll be Christmas morning. But while the day itself is exciting, I think you're gonna find out getting there is half the fun. Sing it with me, or if you're a monkey, hum. Every day since Thanksgiving, George has woken up his friend, the man with the yellow hat, at 5 in the morning. Oh, if it wasn't obvious, we're talking about the second best Christmas movie ever made, after Die Hard, of course, Curious George, A Very Monkey Christmas. So, to make YouTube not flag this video is made for kids, here's a hard as fuck clip of Bruce Willis killing someone so that not even the dumbasses of YouTube could think this fucking video is for any goddamn kids. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. Okay, now that this video is suitably for grown-ups, let's talk about George, the hairy one here. He has gut spirit and monkety cheater. Hey, this is post-editing Pidge coming in here on day 4 of being stuck at home with COVID, so forgive me if I sound terrible. Quick addendum that I forgot to mention, because the addendum is about something that wasn't true when I first recorded and edited this. This video is part of the Nando V Movies One Last Scene collab, and I promise we are going to get to that one last scene at about the 10-minute mark of this 15-minute video. We need some context first. Every day since Thanksgiving, George has woken up his friend, the man with the yellow hat, at 5 in the morning. Because every day since Thanksgiving, he has thought it was already Christmas. So the man gives him a calendar to point out how much time is left until the big day. But before the big day gets here, there's so much to get done. I think you're gonna find out getting there is half the fun. Everyone in the city joins in on the song. Oh yeah, this is a musical, forgot to mention that. Sharing about how much they love preparing for Christmas. It's all about the ordinary people in the city living their ordinary lives, preparing for the most wonderful day of the year. The doorman and his dog Huntley set up Christmas lights in the lobby. The local Italian chef, Chef Pisghetti, gets ready for his Feast of 7 Fishes, which I didn't realize until my most recent watch-through is a joke about the Feast of the 7 Fishes, an Italian-American tradition that basically no one in the target demographic of 5-year-olds would understand. God, I love Curious George! George's friends, Betsy and her older brother Steve, chase after their dog just like normal, but when it's close to Christmas, they always end up looking at the toy store. Are you ready for Christmas Day to come? Sing it with me. Or if you're a monkey, hum. But as they try to prepare for the big day, things go awry. They buy a Christmas tree, but as George climbs the trees to find the perfect one, he knocks them all down, with the final one, his perfect tree, getting stuck in a chair. But even still, it's perfect. Weirdness and all, the tree is exactly what George wants it to be. Amused by his situation, the doorman talks about how well he and Huntley understand each other. Just like how George and the man understand each other, right? Far worse than any chair trees, though, George and the man can't figure out what to get each other for Christmas. Instead of using a catalog like normal, George just draws. A bike? Too basic. A rhinoceros? The perfect gift, as long as you never have to get it out the door. But when he thinks of a drum, everything clicks into place. And he knows exactly what he wants. He draws a strange mess of symbols that he understands perfectly, and he can't tell why the man with the yellow hat doesn't. When asked what he wants, Yellow Pants replies,
"Why don't you make me something? Surprise me."
George starts by drawing it, but what is it? This will take some thought from both of them. While they're decorating, George inner monologues / sings. I don't really get what's supposed to be going on here, but he has a song about all the things that he wants to get. After all, his friend deserves a gift that says more than, "Here's what I found at the grocery store." It has to be nice and fit under the tree, with what in the world could it be? A car with wings and a spare tire that sings? A magical spread to make you breakfast in bed? But there's no such thing. So what's a monkey to do? To find something as special as you. Throughout the whole inner monologue dream, or whatever you'd call this, the family is having a great, special time together, decorating their perfect, messed up tree. Betsy is trying to write a new Christmas carol for her Aunt Margaret, but she can't think of anything that hasn't already been used. Maybe every Christmas song has already been written. Steve tries to help in his dumb older brother way with songs like "Put stuff on the walls like holly, we put Christmas stuff upon our walls." But they're always just existing Christmas songs. This, of course, is no help to George, who can't write or say words, let alone music. But the man doesn't see it as George not knowing what he wants. After a chat with Chef Pisghetti, the good little monkey made tomato snowmen for his friend. Pisghetti even talked about how well his cat Gnocchi and he understand each other. Just like how George and the man understand each other, right? And on a call with his friend, museum curator Professor Wiseman, he shows this clearly obsessive.
What makes it worse, he knows what I'd want. Tomato snowmen. He's so thoughtful and messy.
Wiseman tries to get George to explain his list, but score one for the monkey. Not only does he just say the man can explain it, he also reveals a flaw in the museum's snow machine. She wonders if maybe George should be working there with her. He's clearly very smart after all. They understand each other. They understand each other so well, we start to wonder if the man is even right for him. When she tries instead to run the list through a universal translator, it catches the building on fire. She suggests he follow George around, leading to the single greatest line ever put on television.
That's it. You are a genius.
That's, actually my job description.
That day, George has an idea. He's going to follow the man around all day until he can figure out what to make for him. You see the problem. They try to follow each other around, but they both just come to the same conclusion.
He's really hard to follow.
It's Christmas Eve, and neither of them have any idea what to get for each other. But now, it's time for their city's Christmas pageant, where there are lots of songs lined up. Lots, but missing one. Betsy still has no idea what to write. It takes her the whole pageant, and with some prompting from George, she writes a new carol. After a genuinely very touching intro, she sings,
Christmas monkey, no one sung about Christmas monkey's got no song. It's been that way for much too long.
Monkeys run and monkeys climb, monkeys love Christmas time. Just ask George, the hairy one here. He's got spirit and monkey cheer. Aunt Margaret got the best Christmas present ever, but George and the man are about to ruin each other's Christmases. George has no idea what to make, and his friend just accepts that he doesn't understand the little monkey anymore. He wonders who would be better, and drifts off to sleep, meeting the ghost of time going sideways. The ghost shows him George with other people. The doorman, he doesn't have it in him to be so neat and orderly. Professor Wiseman, his doodles may be the most important discovery in the history of smarts, but he doesn't get to climb around. Pisghetti, he's happy on break, but then he needs to get back to work. Everyone seemed good, but the little monkey is still best suited to being with his friend after all. Only one problem. The friend still doesn't understand the Christmas list. George can't think what to make. All he has so far is a bunch of drawings. Drawings and some wrapping paper. This will take some time, but he's got it, along with his monkey cheer. George is fine, but the man is still not. But wait, the window display, is that the same shape as in the drawing? No, this is a dream, but to check, he just has to wake up. He wakes up and he runs to the store, but no! The store is closing right as he understands what to buy. Or is it? It's not quite 7 yet. The watch is never wrong. He has 9 minutes to buy what he needs. Now, I do think the story might have been slightly more impactful if the man had just fully not understood George's Christmas list, And then George was happy anyway and explained it to him, and then they got to have a really nice bonding moment as they went out and bought it together. But that is for my 40-chapter fanfiction, not for this cartoon made for 5-year-olds. And with that, we finally get to this one last scene. As they wake up Christmas morning, the friends go to the tree. But right when they do, George pulls Yellow Man into his room, showing him a roll of wrapping paper. I mean, we can use it, but oh, all the preparations. Rankin's tree farm, tomato snowmen, a rhino, Betsy's song. And at the end, just you, me, and the chair in the tree. The best part of all. This was the story of two friends struggling to understand each other. Of a parent trying to make sense of what his kid wants, not being able to, and just thinking,
I must be the worst monkey parent ever.
of thinking there's someone better for them than you. Of a friend, not able to think of what to get someone for Christmas. But in the end, it's the story of a man figuring out what George wants, and of realizing that he really is the best one for him. Of a child, finding something that he could make for his friend or parent, in a way only he could, to make something as special as him. That's what all of Curious George is. From the first time they met in the jungle because George thought Ted's hat was a banana, all the way to when they finally went back to Africa because of a malfunction in their rocket ship. These two have been the ultimate found family since day one. Since decades before that was a popular term. Ted was just on a ship one day, wearing yellow because the store he went to was out of khaki. Then a little monkey stole his cap before boarding his boat back to America. There were trials, there was difficulty, but all in all, they were a family. Even all the way back in 1939, before the man with the yellow hat had even been introduced, Curious George was about found family. He, his mother, and his 7 siblings had been left homeless by the destruction of trees in their area. Cecily G was alone, due to all her friends being sent to zoos. They both needed help, and from each other, they found it. Cecily G and the 9 monkeys found a family. My favorite George story, released back when I was 3 years old, has this too. Trying to help Kayla, an elephant from a magic show, our good little monkey forms a family with her, and a little girl they find named Anna. Begrudgingly, Ted ends up being part of the family himself, and while he's there, they form an even deeper bond than they did in the first movie. All of this was also happening because George and Ted had been accused of kidnapping Kayla, and then there was this crime stuffer guy who was trying to hunt them down and saying that George could speak Chinese, and it was really weird. Because this show, and everything related to this show, manages to perfectly thread that needle between touchingly sincere and utterly ridiculous. Because kids' media is weird like that. Even separate from the man, George has lots of found families. Out in the country, everyone's favorite episodes, including his own, I'm sure, are about when George was hanging out with his friend Allie, the girl whose first appearance was sitting in a chicken coop, shouting,
So, if you're thinking, I wonder what it's like to be a chicken, I can tell you, it's not very interesting.
In the city, there's Steve and Betsy. While the two of them are blood family themselves, they form a strong found family bond with George. Everyone knows there's no experience more familial than helping someone find or make a Christmas gift. And that's exactly what George does in the climax of this film. So much of what we see around the holidays is saying like, spend time with your family, and stuff like that. And for those of us lucky enough to have that luxury, that's great. Visiting family around the holidays, enjoying a nice meal of Chinese takeout because we're really busy and don't have time to cook on Christmas Eve or you're crazy, that's awesome. For those of you who can, I truly encourage you to cherish that. But for a lot of people, that's not an option. Maybe your family doesn't support who you are. Maybe they're great, but you can't afford to leave town. Maybe all your family has been sent to a zoo, and you've been left homeless because of deforestation. Oh my god, Cecily G is so much more intense than I remembered. At these times, it's important to cherish the time you do get to spend with your real family. Your found family. Found families will never quite be perfect. Just like a chair in a tree being woken up at 5 a.m. every day since Thanksgiving, or even a wonderful gift that looks just like a roll of wrapping paper, it'll never be perfect. But a traditional family isn't perfect either, and for a number of people, their chosen family is a lot better than their given one. Every relationship, familial, romantic, or otherwise, will have ups and downs. Flying cars and crappy Christmas parodies. But imperfections like that are what make us beautiful. Because if the story didn't have any tomato on the walls, it wouldn't be very interesting. You try to follow each other around all day until you understand each other perfectly, all you'll realize is that you're both really hard to follow. Curious George shows us how beautiful that is, and I think that's pretty damn awesome. So if you're with me, watch this video right here to sing it with me. Or if you're a monkey, hum.